Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Livewire TV. If you're new here, super happy that you're here. This is the place where we like to talk all about business strategies, mindset, and marketing strategies too. And part of business growth is also massively to do with mindset. And that's what we're going to be talking all about in today's episode with the amazing Suman. So before I introduce Suman, I just wanted to introduce Livewire TV. Livewire TV is a part of Livewire Media, where we do corporate photography, videography, and video marketing. Suman and I have known each other for several years now, and I think it's safe to say from like the first meeting at Yes Group, we just hit it off straight away. For those of you who don't know, Suman is all about the law of attraction and manifesting everything that you want. Now, who doesn't want that? She's been an expert in this space amongst other skill set for several years now, and she's been constantly honing in on her craft and having business owners to really delve deep into themselves, uncover the blocks that are actually stopping them from unleashing their inner potential and gaining what they want. So do drop your comments in the comment section below. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. We're broadcasting live across Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So do comment with where you're watching as well, because I can only see the views, but I cannot see where you guys are all coming from. So I'd love to know what platform you are watching on. Suman, welcome to Livewire TV.
Hey,
How you doing?
Lovely to be here.
So give us a brief of an introduction to yourself and who you are and what the Manifestation Maven is all about.
Absolutely. So I'm Suman Manghra, of course, founder of Manifestation Maven, and I started my journey like well over a decade ago now. It's probably about 2007, 2008, around the time when The Secret book came out. So I'll go into that a lot more detail in a bit. But yeah, the purpose of my journey has always been about personal mastery, self-development, personal development, but not just my own mastery, but helping others master themselves. And it's the self-development of not just yourself but others as well. So this is why I got a massive, like, I was drawn to coaching, to developing, to training. How can I just, like, I feel like with some people you just scratch the surface, and I see so much potential, and I was just like, right, how can we really get into people's minds and not just walk through my journey?
You've always been a nurturing kind of
Yeah,
person, haven't you? You've always been that person
that's
that goes
it.
out your way to help other people.
Absolutely. So that's kind of just been where my mindset myself has been, where it's kind of given birth to Manifestation Maven now.
Yeah, amazing. How long have you been doing this for then?
So I've been coaching, so it just totally depends on where I want to say. It's like a bit of a grey area, because I've consistently coached. You know, I was network marketing coach, and then I was doing mindset coaching, then I was doing empowerment coaching, but it's all been like overlapped and threaded through. But the birth of Manifestation Maven came, that was, I believe it was about October 2019, was where I finally thought, right, I need to really be very specific in what my business title is and my logo and everything, so people know what to expect when they come to my doors. I've always had mixed reception, because some people are still a bit like, what is manifestation? I'm like, to be fair, the people who know what manifestation is, they'll already be a little bit aware before they come and work with me.
Yeah. Emad, welcome from LinkedIn, joining us from Manchester. I'm super psyched that you're here. Manchester is a really great place. So, Emad, do get in touch with any questions that you have all about manifesting and the law of attraction. And do let us know what you do in the comments as well. I'd love to know what your occupation is too. Suman, like, do you feel like your life has naturally progressed towards being a coach and helping other people to get what they want? Because I know that your background, you have a corporate background, and then you thought, start it one day and I'm going to go work for myself.
To be honest, the want and the passion to want to work for myself was there for ages, for many years. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and throughout my journey of my full-time corporate job, I was always doing like these side hustles. Everybody who knows me very well and has known me for years will always know I've got my hands in something or another, because I've constantly kept developing that side of myself. And I started off with network marketing companies because they are a fascinating place to learn so much wealth of business knowledge. You get so much like support, and as well as they're massive and mad on success mindset, and that was the biggest thing for me. But eventually it did come to a point where even in my job, I'm a corporate job, I was helping other people be good at their job, and I was coaching people on the phones, communication skills, dealing with complaint systems. I was like, I want to coach people to be great at life. You know, I want them to, I'd always ask them in our sessions, and they used to laugh, what do you want to do above and beyond this job? What more do you want in your life? And that's something I was always naturally drawn to doing, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of the people that are watching this right now, and if you're watching this on the replay, drop a hashtag replay. And there are a lot of people watching this right now. They are self-employed. They've kind of been through a similar journey to ourselves, and a lot of them are they're very new to manifesting. So can you just give us a bit of a definition as to what manifesting actually is, and maybe even what the law of attraction actually is too?
Of course. So manifesting is when something's created from our thoughts and imagination and come into reality. So it's a bit like, you know, you have a wish to have a new car, and then all of a sudden you go out there, you look at different ones, you have a desire, you see a picture or an image of one, and you keep imagining yourself driving it, and then eventually, you know, you save up your money. It might be done just an organic way. You save up your money, eventually you go to the garage and you're like, that's it, I'm buying this one, and then you're driving it home before you know it. But in some cases, some things can get manifested which are like not expected, which manifestation's about expecting it, make yourself expect it, believe it. But you want something, you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get that, but you don't. Manifestations and law of attraction is more about forget the how, just focus on the goal. When your energy and everything about you is echoing, that's what you want, the universe will make it happen for you. And sometimes then all of a sudden people have had it where, oh, my dad went and brought me that car for my birthday or something, and it's like, I really wanted it. So that's an example of how manifestations, you can work hard, and I never ever say to people, don't work hard for things, and you do need to put action into it. But it's about the concept of how do you raise your vibration to attract those things, because equally manifesting can work the other way when we're manifesting negative situations and circumstances, and we are the ones who are actually like that central portal echoing something in our vibes. We don't even know we're doing it. So getting the awareness and to switch that around so you can start having a bit more control of the circumstances you want to attract in your life. That's what manifestation and law of attraction is in a bit of a nutshell.
And is it all woo-woo and spiritual and gurus and all of that, or is there more of a scientific logic reason behind it?
I always, ever since I've done my NLP training last 3-4 years ago, I came across the concept of every truth can be true. Yeah. So if you believe it's woo-woo, it'll be woo for you because that's what you believe. But if you believe there's scientific facts behind it, you'll find the scientific facts. I think it's whatever anybody wants to interpret themselves. But for me, my original stemming of this knowledge actually did come from science. I remember sitting in a biology class and learning about solids, liquids, gases, and they talked about particles, and they talked about energies in every single molecule and atom, and this hard table right now, and I still remember that science teacher, this table right now, and he knocked on the table, it's not actually solid. And I was like, what are you talking about? That is solid, what you're about? And he talked about how it's really high vibrating particles that give the image to us as it being a solid. And then they talked about how even our skin cells are like, you know, actually we're not solid. And I was like very fascinated by this concept and the fact that we carry energy. And I've also, this is a bit of a side note going down, this is what I will do, I will take you down a bit of a windy road with my stories. But I also was always massively interested in paranormal and supernatural things. I used to always wonder about ghosts and that kind of thing. And life after death used to always be in my mind. And what happens to us? Does the lights just go out? Do we really float away somewhere? Can we see everything that's going on around us? And actually, scientifically, I thought, yeah, a little bit. But what came in my mind was scientifically, we are energy. Energy never, ever diminishes. Energy is always transmuted into something else. And then when I came across The Secret, Bob Proctor said the same thing. And he's like, we are energy, we're vibrating energy. And then it all kind of made sense to me, the science side of vibration, frequency. And I was like, this is interesting.
Amazing. So you mentioned earlier that people have to believe in order to receive. That's a lot easier said than done sometimes, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's so true. So just going by Bob Proctor himself, he talks about paradigms that we have. And sometimes we have deep set paradigms from a young age that we don't even know we've created.
Can you define what paradigms are for those of the viewers who aren't aware?
Absolutely, they're just constructed belief patterns. They're self-constructed. It's based on our upbringing, mostly between the years of when we're 0 to maybe even when we're in the womb. From when we're in the womb to when we're about 6-7 years old. This is everything. We're big, massive sponges. We're just subconscious sponges absorbing everything. Because even if you see babies, they'll start mimicking your facial expressions when you do like certain faces to them. They'll do it back. You try and make them speak. They're imitating your words. They start doing a lot of, based on role models around them, they'll imitate the behaviors. And Bob Proctor's theory is that actually we look like our family members because that's part of our paradigm, because it's around us. It's not just about it genetically being in us, it's because that's what we're surrounded by. Because there's also a theory about adopted children start looking like their parents after, if they're adopted very young, they'll look like their parents. And they get these comments saying, oh, you look like your parents. And I've actually did watch this lady's story on YouTube where she shared that everybody's always saying you look like your parents, and she's thinking, but I'm adopted. That's interesting.
Amazing. So how does one start to believe when they don't believe?
I literally had this conversation earlier today, so I think it was good timing to prepare me for today, because this is a question I get asked a lot: where to start and how do you even know? The first very step is to have awareness. I think a lot of people are living in a bit of a lull where you don't even know that you're thinking a certain way. You're just thinking everybody's like on an autopilot. We just automatically react. I was listening to a video. If anybody doesn't watch Abraham Hicks, big massive note there, go and watch Abraham Hicks on YouTube. Just Google that name. You'll find plenty of free content. Abraham Hicks, I watched a video today and she was talking about lots of people go in life where if something good's happening in my life, I'm going to feel good. And then the minute something bad's happening in my life, I'm going to feel bad. And majority of people live by this way of living, not realizing actually the way I'm feeling, it can change what's happening around me. So no matter what's going on around me, and if I feel good, I'll continue to attract good things. So the first step is the awareness. And then the second step, I'd say, start small. Start by manifesting and wishing for little things to happen. And as silly as this sounds, I did it the other day. Rich came home and he'd come from his shops and he's like, I brought some chocolate, and he brought this bag of chocolate that was a sharing bag. And I'm like, no, I wanted a chocolate to myself, like a chocolate bar. Why have you brought the sharing bag for? That ain't chocolate. So me and him just had a bit of a joke. But later on in the day, it was like in my mind, I just put it out there that I wanted my own chocolate bar. I didn't want to share my bag of chocolate or anything. And my mother-in-law was gifted from somewhere some Easter chocolates, which came with loads of different chocolates in there. And she's like, do you want this? I don't want these. She gave me chocolate. And I was just like, I manifested my chocolate bar. And I just laughed it off. But start small, whether it's like a cup of tea, whether it's just, some people sometimes want to like manifest, oh, I want to see a certain type of flower, or I want to see a certain feather, whatever it might be. Everybody's different.
Some would say it's a coincidence, though. What would you say to that?
The coincidence is something that exists, and the thing is that when you get loads of coincidences and it starts happening more and more, you start realizing this must be more than a coincidence. This has happened to me not once, but twice, but 3, but 4, but 5. When you see the multitude of coincidences, and you're like, hang on a minute, this is a bit, and this is why people feel like it might be a bit woo-woo. But yeah, it's when you see the chances happening again and again, you do question, is it really by chance?
Yeah. And what would you say to somebody who's really struggling to make themselves feel good? Because it all starts from within, really, doesn't it? And then
absolutely, it is from the feelings. Yes.
So what would you say to them?
To that person, I would say you have to start focusing. And interestingly, again, it's a really good time for today, because I'm starting on 28-day journey for I've got the book. Where have I put the book? Okay, I don't know. I normally have it right here. Oh, I do have it right here. The Magic. So in the Secret series, the third book was actually The Magic, and this is 28-day principles of gratitude. And today I've started a journey with a group of other ladies, and our first step was write down 10 things we're grateful for, or blessings that we have, and why we're grateful for them. And somebody I was speaking to today, they've got a hip pain going at the moment, and they're like, it's so difficult to think about anything whilst I'm struggling with hip pain. How can I think of anything else? I said, think about all the parts of your body that you've not got pain in. And she's like, that's true. I said, look, my mother-in-law yesterday was complaining about pain in her jaw. When she eats, she has to eat on one side of her mouth. We take it for granted that we're using a whole mouth. We take it for granted we've got a full set of teeth. Yeah. So little things like that. How about, well, my shoulders ain't aching. Well, my hands are working quite well. Focus on those things.
You can't feel gratitude and any other emotion at the same time.
Yeah. And it's like, just diminish it by looking at the opposite of it is what I'd say. So if it's people, something that I did, I remember when I used to work, and we all have been there, where we work with a colleague and it's like somebody just really grates us or annoys us, and we're like, why do they have to be like that? Maybe it might even be a dodgy manager, and you're like, why do you have to work with people like this? And you just feel like, this is sucking my soul right now. But then
we've all had that boss.
And sit there to yourself and think, for this one person who I'm working with who isn't that great to work with, count at least on your hand minimum 5 other people who are great to work with. Maybe 10 if you can push it to 10. Every time I had one person, even...
Is it safe to say it's about shifting your focus onto something better?
Absolutely, because it's all there. What I say is good and bad is all outside of us. You know, you can literally, you either look at the weather when it rains and say, oh my God, it's raining now. Or you think, that's really nice, the plants are being nourished now. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Ren has just commented from LinkedIn. Hey, Ren, really common girls. You've just split 100 hairs. I think he just means that I think you've just blown a few people away a little bit.
Possibly.
So you left the, let's go back to your background a bit. So you left the corporate world and you thought, I'm going to start up my own business. How did you go about setting up your own business, and what were the challenges that you went through in doing that?
So this has been definitely the most interesting part of my journey, because I always had a part-time business alongside my full-time job. So for me, I've always had my business, but I was really struggling to get results in my business. And I'd always sit there thinking, if I had more time and energy to put in my business, I'd get more results. Because the truth is, how much you put in is what you'll get out. And then I was like at a point where I was like, right, I got a new job, and I was thinking, after a year, I'm going to cut my hours down. A lot of people go down this route where they reduce their hours and they increase their hours in their business. So that's what plan I had for myself, but life had other plans for me. So what happened was that as I was coming towards the first year in a new job that I'd started in 2019, early 2020 last year, I was like, okay, I'm going to have a little discussion with them about reducing my hours. But before I could have a discussion with them, they had a discussion with me about redundancy. And I was like, I wanted to reduce my hours. I didn't want to like not do any hours. But then I realized the universe is making this happen, because if I continued to do that job full time, I just could never commit fully to my business. And I'm just grateful that at that time, I still had the opportunity to go back to other work with other companies, but I just took the plunge then, and I thought, this is it, leap of faith, go and just jump in, deep dive in it. It's now or never. And do you know what? I felt like for so many years I'd been saying part-time business. I think I was ready for it, but it still was very scary. And then literally within a month of me being made redundant, the pandemic hit and the lockdown happened, and I thought, hey, I've decided to do my business full-time in a pandemic. Awesome.
So what were the challenges that you faced around that then? Because you've just left your job and it wasn't exactly the circumstances that you ideally would have liked, but the universe obviously had other plans for you. So you thought, okay, I'm going to try and make the most of it now. And then what?
Yeah. And so the very first thing I'd already had planned ahead in the January last year was my annual event. I was going to launch my first event, and it was going to be a live event, a speaker event, and it was about success mindset. And I thought, that's it, let's just do an event, get my name out there, and also host it and support other people as well. And the next thing you know, it was lockdown and I couldn't do this live event, and I'd put a lot of money into this event as well. And I was just like, okay. And so something that's been very good with me, and sometimes it's an innate skill, but I don't believe that you can't learn it. I'm pretty sure everybody can learn this skill. Thinking on your feet and being a bit like solution orientated has always served me. And I thought to myself at the time, well, what can I do now? And I thought, okay, let's go online, Zoom, that's it. Let's use Zoom. Let's create the event online. Didn't know how it would work. Kind of just, sometimes you just have to do and not overthink it too much. You might not do it perfectly, but you get experience and learning from it. So I just did that. I did my event online, and I was actually quite fortunate because I wanted to do my coaching online anyway. So this was actually a perfect circumstance for me. But it did mean that I couldn't do my live networking anymore or live events, and I had to be quick thinking in like, okay, let's go digital with what I can and keep doing what I can do. Sometimes, and not even sometimes, all the time, circumstances are out of our control, often cases. You just have to focus on what can I do. Don't keep looking at, oh, I can't do this now, I can't do that. Again, what we talked about just a minute ago, switch your focus. Okay, I can't do a live event, but I can do an online event.
Amazing. Yeah, totally agree with you on that one. It's all about shifting your focus and focusing on the how to. And it's amazing when you shift your focus in that way, the solution just kind of presents itself to you. Guys, if you have any questions, we're broadcasting live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. We'll be sure to answer them for you. Or if you have any thoughts around the law of attraction and manifestation, I'd love to read them, whether it's good or bad, or you're not too keen on it, or you love it. I'd love to know. And if you're watching this on the replay,
I would love to hear people's law of attraction stories. If anybody has their own stories of things they've manifested, I'd love to see those comments if anybody wants to share those.
Yeah, same. So on that note, actually, what's the wildest thing you've manifested?
Okay, now this is interesting. So when I first was earlier this year, I was invited to do a Healing and Believing series. And in that Healing and Believing series, one of the ladies started talking about this book. And I was like, oh, I've got this on my shelf. I've had it for years. As I decided, oh, I think I should look into this book again. I don't know where the inspiration came from. I thought, I've had this for years. This paper fell out of it. And I was like, what's this? And I opened it up, and it literally was a list that I'd created in 2014 of gifts I wanted to manifest from Rish. But and Rish is my husband, for anybody who's wondering who Rish is, because I was going to get married in 2014, and I was just like, oh, these are the kind of gifts that would be amazing to get. And I don't even remember creating this list. This is literally on the letterheaded paper of my company where I used to work. So I printed it at work.
Wow.
And on here, then I actually went down the list and I started ticking off what have I achieved from here. Something I don't even remember writing on here was I wanted to manifest a trip to Cyprus. Within the first year of me getting married, Rish gifted me a trip to Cyprus for my birthday, for my first year birthday after we got married in 2015. So that was a year after I wrote this, and I didn't even remember writing it. So
that's crazy.
And out of this list, there's 31 things on this list, and I've ticked off 12 that I've manifested so far in the last 6 years.
Wow,
not bad
amazing.
For a day's job.
Fantastic. Welcome to the new viewers. Broadcasting live across LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. I'd love to know where you're watching from, because I can only see the views, but I cannot see where you're watching from. So do let me know where you're watching this from and what you do as well. Let's get some connections going. So, Suman, that must have been an incredible feeling when you've looked through that list and you thought, wow, I've just manifested like a holiday and everything else.
I did not even remember writing it down, because I remember he wanted to gift me a trip. And I was just like, okay, wherever you'd like to go, I don't mind. A holiday is a holiday. And especially because we're newly married, newlyweds, we were excited about going on a holiday. And Cyprus was actually, at the time, I was like, Cyprus of all places. Honestly, I don't even know when I wrote that down. I don't even know why I wrote it down, because I've got other trips in there as well. So I'm waiting to manifest them now after lockdown. But it's so interesting. Like on here, I've even wrote stuff like, I put new coat, and a couple of years ago he brought me a new jacket and concert tickets. I don't even know why I wrote half the stuff on here, but at the time I was obviously just having a bit of a moment, and I thought, let's just get like, and this is another key thing, have fun, have that much fun with it that you don't even know what you're really asking for. You're just having fun with it and experimenting. Like, not overthinking, right, I really trip to Cyprus. Nothing like that. Kind of put it out there in energetically, there are some things we want to think a little bit more about, but there's some things where you just want to have playful energy with it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got any daily practices for people to upgrade their vibe and what they're manifesting?
Absolutely. The very first one is exactly the one that I've done today as my first principles of the 28-day challenge. So writing down 10 things that you're grateful for, and not just what you're grateful for, but why. So a reasoning why. Once you've wrote it down, your full 10 list, you read every single one out and you feel gratitude. You just really feel the gratitude for that thing. Because when people say that, are you a grateful person? People, of course I am. I say thank you. I'm grateful when good things go our way, but sometimes we're not even grateful for what we already have. Like I said, the health one, you've got a pain in your knee or something, but you're not being grateful for the fact that your elbow's not paining. We don't think about it because it's a given. We sometimes don't even think about being grateful for the clean water in our taps, the roof on our heads, the pillows that we're sleeping on. It's like you can really, I even went to the extent I wrote it today. I'm so grateful for my eyes. And you know, when I did the practice and I read it out, and then you want to also say thank you 3 times at the end of each one, because this practice of saying thank you consistently, but really meaning it. Honestly, for most of the things I wrote down on my list, I had tears streaming down my face. I was like, wow. Oh my God, I am actually so grateful for this. And I was just like really emotional, but in a positive way, because I was like, wow, I'm grateful for my eyesight. I get to read books. I get to write things. I get to watch videos. I get to, you know, watch those Netflix shows that I binge on. I get to see my loved ones' faces. And it really like, it's about just really like doing that. The 28-day practice actually says to do 10 new things every day for 28 days. So that would be my challenge to you guys out there. If you want to start this, don't just write down the 10 and repeat the 10 every day. See if you can add to this list, create a list and start adding 10 each day.
Amazing. And what have you got any other steps?
So another step is around actual routines, morning routines and nighttime routines. These are amazing because it's a bit like the 2 ends of a bookcase, and it kind of starts our day off right, and it also prepares us for the next day when we do a nighttime routine. So some of you may have or may not have, and I'll share it now with yourselves, heard of the Morning Miracle. There's a book that's been written. I think his name's El.
Oh yeah, I know. I've read that one.
I've literally shared the link with somebody recently. What we'll do is when I have the link available, I'll share it on the live streams comments section when I have a chance. So Miracle Morning, he talks about a technique called savers, and this is massive. Like, even if you want to spend a whole hour doing this savers routine, or if you want to just do it in half an hour, depends on what your morning's like, but if you can get up half an hour earlier to do this, I'd strongly recommend it. So if people have got the pens and papers ready, write these ones down. The first one is S, savers. So this is the acronym savers, SAVERS. S for silence. Silence is around silencing of the mind. So this could be some form of breath work, prayer, meditation. It's just about quietening the chatter around us and just really connecting with that inner selves. Then the next A is for affirmations. Affirmations need to be said in a positive tense, and they need to be positive statements, and they need to be present tense as well. So if you want to be wealthy, for example, you say, I am wealthy, rather than I would like to have wealth. I am wealthy, I am happy, I am content, I am beautiful. Statements like that. For example, as well, for my friend I was speaking to today with the hip pain, I am healed. Now, for anybody who finds it a bit tricky to say that when they're like in a lot of pain, like, how can I say I'm healed? It feels contradictory. Just say, I'm in the process of being healed. I'm in the process of healing. Add that little word in there, and then hopefully with a bit of time, you can switch it up to I am healed. And that's where you'll start attracting that. Then the V, so we've done silence, affirmations. The V is for visualizations. So visualizations can be just, this depends on how much time you have in the morning and how much effort you want to put into this part of this section. It can be for the bigger goals, like really visualizing yourself driving that car, that Lamborghini that you want to be driving. Or it could be just visualizing outcomes of the day. Like I want to, like, to this morning, I was visualizing this interview being well received and a positive outcome at the end of the interview. I wanted to visualize that everything ran smoothly whilst we have the connection. Maybe you've got meetings and you want to make sure the meetings are running well. Maybe you've got a negotiation. Maybe you're sending your kids to school and you just want to make your kids come home safely from school. Visualize it in the morning. Might be the simplest thing for the day. It could be something for the week. It could be something for the month. So yeah, visualize yourself actually having been successful and achieved it. And also focus on your feeling afterward that is completed successfully. So that's the V. So then you've got SAVE. E is for exercise. And again, this isn't about doing some mad workout first thing in the morning. Again, if you can, do it. But if not, even if it's just doing a few push-ups against the wall, just to get your blood pumping and getting oxygen to your brain first thing in the morning. So that's exercise. Then you've got R and S at the end, and these are the best ones. Even if you don't do the others, I would definitely say, definitely do these if you can. R is for reading. It's the information you're consuming first thing in the morning. Even if you're only reading like 2 pages of maybe a self-help book, positive guidance book. It might even be like success book. So if you're like in a certain profession, you might be reading an autobiography of someone who's achieved the things you'd like to achieve. Read a couple of pages. So it could be, if you've got 5 minutes, just do 5 minutes of reading. If you've got 20 minutes, 20 minutes of reading. Then the final S is for scribing. Scribing means like writing things down. So that could be journaling, that could be mind dumping, it could be brainstorming. It could be like I did that task today, 10 things that I'm grateful for. You might want to just write your goal down each day, but do some form of scribing, because that is when we really are putting into creation through our pen. I always say the pen's in your hand. The pen is in your hand. So be the author of a great story.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing tips as well. I've read that book a couple of years back, and since implementing that into my morning and evening routine, it's been an absolute game changer, because it makes you so aware of yourself, doesn't it? And when you become fully aware of yourself as a person and what you're about, you then grow and you manifest more and more, don't you?
Absolutely. The first time I started journaling, I actually was writing what was coming in my head, because some people are like, how to journal. Honestly, I literally, this is my words. I've got my book here. I could probably read a little bit out from it to make you guys laugh. But I was just like, I finally decided to start my journaling. I have no idea where to start. I'm currently listening to Joe Dispenza video. So I literally was just writing what I was doing at the time to get the flow going. And then I just started writing from nowhere. I'm struggling to stick to my work schedule. I really need to sort out some of the things that I'm procrastinating about. I need to sort out my workstation. So as I wrote it down, it's what you've just said, that awareness was there. Okay, I need to start working on making sure my workstation is sorted. That's where I need to start putting my energy and effort. And yeah, so I just basically just was writing whatever was coming in my mind, and I kind of did a bit of a mini mind dump, and then a bit of a reflection as well. You can also use the writing, especially the nighttime routine. Reflect on how your day's gone and what you would have done differently in the day, and also start preparing yourself for, again, visualize the next day going well. And the reason why these parts of the days are so important is, first thing in the morning, you're setting yourself up for the rest of the day, but at night time, your mind's still working and processing things. So the last thing you're doing before you go to sleep is quite important in this sense, because it's being processed whilst you're sleeping, and it starts becoming more deeply in bed. So it's very, very important to get this part of your routines right.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you on that one. In your professional opinion, Suman, how important is manifesting through personal mastery for business growth?
It's the most important. I feel like a lot of people start going on towards doing business goals and doing, business mastery, where they're still struggling. It's a little bit like when we want to do everything for our family and friends, but we're not all right ourselves. And it comes down to that whole concept, like when we go on a flight and they say, put your own mask on first before you put anybody else's mask on. You're there trying to do other things when the person who needs the mask on themselves. What's the point of putting the mask on your business when you need to put the mask on yourself? And I always say as well, when we're serving others, business is all about service. It's about the service that we offer others, whether it's through products or actual services. It's about giving to others, but you want to give from an overflow of energy of yours, not from depleting energies of yourself. So look after yourself first, prioritize your needs and make sure your cup's overflowing. Then from your overflow, you've got abundance to give others. You'll have more energy, you'll have more time for others, And any engagements and interactions you have, whether it's business meetings or like negotiations for your products, like, you know, you sometimes watch Apprentice. I'm pretty sure you may have. I know a lot of business-minded people love Apprentice. I absolutely love it, and I missed it last year. Can't wait for it to come back when it comes. But in there, you'll see they go and do pictures of products to these, you know, top leaders of these businesses, and they want them to purchase their product and put it on their shelves. Those kind of meetings will go a lot more flawlessly and like with ease and with a lot of great engagement and energy if you're in the right place yourself. So mastering yourself is massive.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you on that one. I always say to people, because I'm massively into personal development myself, and I always say to people, your life will grow directly in proportion to your mindset. So it's almost like you can't really grow other aspects of your life without growing what's going on in here and inside of your heart, right?
Yeah, so, that's right.
Suman, I know that you have a course coming up, you have workshops coming up too. Where can people connect with you?
So you can connect with me through majority of the platforms. I don't think there's any platform I'm not on. Mainly I am on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. And I do tend to consistently share my links to things that I'm doing there. My website's also available on Instagram. My best link is my Linktree link, because it takes you through to different parts of things that I do. This month I am focusing on a couple of events coming up. So put this date in your diaries, 15th of April. I'm doing a whole day's event around Success Mindset Summit. So the event that I did last year online, because I promised myself back then I wanted it to be an annual event. This time around, it's the second annual event for the Success Mindset Summit. Free event, free to attend, and it'll all be streamed online. So I'll get the details out to you guys shortly for that. And also, I'm actually doing a singles event as well. That's just a small mindset event we're doing around healing hearts for single people. That's on the 8th of April in the evening. So do look out for my post for that. But yeah, I've also got a group coaching program that I'm launching in May. And again, I'll be posting more information about that through my social media links.
Amazing. And just before we wrap up, have you got any other tips for the viewers on all about manifesting through personal mastery?
Well, I would strongly suggest you have a 15-minute discovery call with me, because I can definitely give you a few nuggets in a short session once I know what you're working on, because I usually like to tailor, I like to tailor my advice to people depending on what they're working on, because it could be health, it could be relationships, it could be business, finance. So the advice will vary depending on what you're working on. So that's my first tip. But just go out there and start consuming the right information, read the right books. 3 tips I'll give: read the right books. Even if you've only got one book on your shelf around this kind of topic, read it a couple of times, really get your head around it, make notes on it and revisit it. Because sometimes when we read it the second, third time, or even when I picked up this magic book after like 6 years, I'm reading it with a new lens and a new mindset. So reading books you've read before, read them again. That's my first tip. Second one is tune into a lot of the free information available, whether that's YouTube videos, whether it's following people like myself. We're always constantly sharing posts or little nuggets or little quotes. Start consuming information that way as well, or maybe audiobooks. And the third tip is the biggest tip: your tribe, people you're associating with. Now, for example, business people will be drawn to this business podcast and interviews because you're getting business tips. You wouldn't go and get business advice from people who are like, say, employers who are working at a junior level, maybe they're factory workers. They're great people. I'm not knocking people for the job, but you won't get business advice from people who ain't running businesses. You need to be around the people who are all about mindset and about success and about being driven and achieving results. Get yourself around those kinds of people, network with them, associate with them, do group work, coaching courses, any kind of platform where you can really be around them kind of like-minded people. You will start learning a lot more and your energy will be lifted because of the energy that they'll give you. So those would be my suggestions. That's a really good
point, actually, because a lot of people tend to find that when they start to grow and they start to surround themselves with more like-minded people who actually do support them, there are some still people within their own personal life that don't like the fact that that person is growing. And that relationship can often become a little bit awkward, a little bit damaged. What would you say to somebody who's looking to grow but has somebody close that they don't want to let go or they don't want to hurt their feelings of?
It's a very common thing, and it's actually one of the earliest things that I had to deal with myself, because when I took my very first coaching sessions with my coach, like 12, 13 years ago, she sat there and she said to me, she goes, "You seem to be very guilty about doing things for yourself." I was like, "I'm not guilty, what are you about?" Like, but when I really thought about it, it was like, oh crap, yeah, I am always so guilty. And it was because I always didn't want to disappoint my parents. I never wanted to upset them, and I'd walk around with eggshells around them because I always want to make sure they're happy and they're content with what I'm doing. But she said, hold on a minute. So if you do your own thing, you think they're going to be unhappy? I said, they might be. They might be disappointed. They're not doing things their way. And she's like, but if you went ahead and still did whatever you wanted to do, even though they're temporarily unhappy, but then you achieve success with it, would they be happy for you? I said, yeah, that's what they want. She was so,
Yeah.
what are you being guilty for? And I was like, that's so bloody true. So that was a big aha moment for me. And this is why coaching is so important, because you get these aha moments that change your life. But yeah, the other thing is there will be times as you're growing, you will outgrow people around you. You outgrow relationships, friendships, and sometimes your family will still be on a certain, again, the paradigm thing. Their paradigms, their map of the world, the way they're viewing the world is set in a certain way. So you have to have a compassionate energy where you forgive them. Don't be so resistive or be like, I have to go against my family now, or my loved one, whoever it is. But just think, be compassionate with them. Say, I understand you're feeling this way, but I see things a bit different way, and I have to do what's true to me. And be true to yourself. You can never go wrong when you're true to yourself.
Absolutely, 100% with you on that one. On that note, we're going to love you and leave you. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Really, really appreciate all of you who commented, watched and liked and everything. Suman, thank you so much for joining us too and sharing your wisdom with us and spending some time with us today and just empowering other people to be a better version of themselves. Really appreciate it. Do drop the
Absolutely, my
link to where
pleasure.
people can connect. Do drop the links to where people can connect with you, because I'm sure there's going to be people that do want to get in touch with you off the back of this. Guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Have an amazing Easter weekend, whatever you're doing, spending time with family, loved ones, or even just chilling at home by yourself. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you next Thursday right here, 6 p.m. GMT time on Live Wire TV.